Hey guys, this is Daniel. So this is video number 3 about Purim, and if you didn't listen to the other two, so that's a good idea. You can do that. Now, the video number 2, I spoke about Amalek, a little bit about Israel, the two forces, opposing forces. Israel is something we have built in. It's who we are, our true identity, higher self, true self, our soul. And Amalek is everything that is happening that try to bring us down and to create a disconnect from my true self or disconnect from God. Okay? Now, I spoke about the coming out of Egypt, that everything was miraculous. Everything the children of Israel went through was one big miracle. And that's where God wanted to keep it that way until people fell. The fall of the golden calf, and then the spies before coming into the land of Israel. So you come to Amalek, and now you need to eliminate Amalek. How do you do that? If it was one person like Haman in the book of Esther, okay, so you hang him on a tree, finished, done deal, he's gone. But we're talking about the force here. We're talking about the force that is the Satan. There is the Yetzer Hara, the negative inclination. There is all kind of doubts and struggles that we have that is awakened every time, in our day-to-day life. So we look into the story of the Amalek, when Amalek shows up in the desert. Okay? So Amalek, Vayavo Amalek, and Amalek came and he fought against Israel in that place, Refidim, where they were tired from their connection with God. So God is here, He's not here, we have water, we don't have water, we have manna from heaven, but then next day we don't have what to eat. And then the quail came, so they had some meat. It was like a lot of ups and downs and a roller coaster. So they got tired, and immediately after the next verse, Amalek came. That's when Amalek shows up, when we get disconnected, when we have a doubt. Now, so they fight against Amalek. How do you fight against Amalek? So the Torah says, Moses went up to the hill with Aaron and Hur, and it says, "V'haya kasher yarim Moshe yado v'gavar Israel." When Moses raised his hand, one hand, Israel won. When he put his hand down, Amalek won. And that's a very, very strange kind of war. Very strange kind of war. I mean, we know that war is something that you do with swords, with spears, bows and arrows, maybe some other special tools that you go and you use your courage and training, and you try to overcome the enemy, right? And here it's something completely different. It's nothing to do with the people. It's about Moses. He raises his hand, Israel win, put his hand down, Amalek wins. So the same thing we said before about the supernatural, that from the beginning, coming out of Egypt, everything was supernatural for the children of Israel. Everything, beginning to end. And even here, the war against Amalek was supernatural. It was about forces. And the Ari says, when Moses raised his hand, we're talking about the right hand. So we have the two forces, right? Forces Israel inside and the force of Amalek that are trying to disconnect. Now, the two forces are represented by the two hands. The right hand represents the mercy, the sharing, the compassion, the love, the care that we have inside us, the force of unity, the force of connecting to the higher self. That's everything is chesed, is the right hand. The left hand represent the desire to receive, represent the need we have, becoming addicted, the fears, the doubts we have, the force of the left, of the Gevurah. So these two forces are under our control. So when we raise the right hand, and the Ari gives us the rule, and he says a person should always raise the right hand over the left. And the meaning is not about the physical hands right on the left, but it's about the inside forces. Should always raise the chesed, follow the guideline of the chesed, of the right hand. Everything I mentioned, the compassion, the sharing, the caring for others. Raise it upon the left, and the left is, again, the need and the doubts and the fears and the addictions and all the negative forces that cause disconnect. And that was the war against Amalek. That was it. Moses raised his hand, Israel wins. Put his hand down, Amalek wins. And that war is the same every time, again and again, not only in the desert, but for us every day. You want to fight against Amalek, you raise your right hand. You switch your consciousness. You forget about the need that you have, and oh my God, I have to have it right now. What am I going to do? Who's going to take care of me? No, now you switch and you raise the consciousness of the right. It's about sharing, it's about caring. And this is what Purim is about. If you see, we're going to see later on, we have certain guidelines that are going to connect us to the power, the force of Purim. And some of them are the donation, gifts. We give food. Each person is kind of obligated to give baskets of food to other people. It's about giving a helping hand. It's about thinking about other people to create unity. To bring that force back to power. And that's the force of Israel, the higher self. Now, there's a very, very peculiar statement in the Talmud that says, in the tractate Megillah, Masechet Megillah, it says, Chayav einish lebasumei befuraya, adelo yada, ben Arur Haman leBaruch Mordechai. Free translation, a person is obligated to get drunk on Purim to the point that he cannot tell the difference between cursed Haman and blessed Mordechai. Now, very, very strange statement. And the Kabbalist asked the question, since when we see in the Torah or the scriptures or other places that drinking a lot bring to anything good? It's funny, right? You get drunk and you fulfill your obligation, but when you get drunk, you lose control. So you say things you're not supposed to, you do things you're not supposed to, you do things that you'll be sorry later on, and some of the things you cannot even fix. And not only that, but the Talmud says you need to drink to the extent that you completely lose it, completely waste it, until you can't tell the difference between the good guy and the bad guy, right? The blessed Mordechai and the cursed Haman. Doesn't make sense, right? And there is a story right there, same place in the Talmud, that says about two of the sages that were fulfilling that obligation of Purim, drinking, getting drunk, and one of them killed the other, killed his friend. He was so drunk, he took a knife, slaughtered his friend. That's it. Friend is dead. The next day, when he got sober, he woke up from his sleep and from his wine, and he saw his friend who was dead, so he resurrected him. Now, without going into details, the sages had the power to resurrect each name mentioned in the Talmud. So he brought his friend back to life. Now, we don't have that privilege, bring people back to life, but getting drunk is a dangerous thing, right? So you're not going to kill your friend, but you can get a DUI, which is bad enough, right? They can revoke your license, take your car away, impound your car, and you can really get yourself in trouble. Anyway, behind this statement, there is a very, very profound secret, the secret of Purim. And again, the secret of Purim is the fight between these two forces, Israel and Amalek. How do you eliminate Amalek without shooting even one bullet? How do you do it? And so the Ohev Israel, he explained it in details, and he says in the story in the book of Esther, it says that Esther at some point she invites the king and Haman to come to the feast she arranged for that night, and she says Yavo HaMelech ve'Haman hayom. The king should come with Haman today or tonight. And the strange thing is that she put the king with Haman as if they were equal. But we know in the book of Esther, every time we say the king, HaMelech, we mean God, energy of God, light of God. And Haman was the bad guy. He was representing Amalek. How can you put them in the same place? So he explained it's exactly what the high priest would do on the day of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. That he took 2 goats that looked exactly the same, identical in all ways, in everything. He made a lottery. One went as a sacrifice for God, the other one went as a sacrifice, an offering to the Satan, and was taken to a special place in the desert, etc. and so on. So the 2 were identical, and each one went to a completely different purpose and future. Okay? Now, on Purim, the statement that I mentioned in the beginning says, again, choice of words. We have to understand the choice of words. The person has to drink ad delo yada, to the point that he cannot tell or he doesn't know. The word yada refers to the sphira of da'at. Da'at. Tree of life, 10 sefirot, 11 sefirot. One of them is da'at, is just between the lower part of the tree of life, the Ze'er Anpin, Chesed, Gvura, Tifer, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and the upper triangle, the 3 sefirot, Keter, Chochmah, Binah. So the Kabbalist, the Ohev Israel, explained there is a place that is called Olam HaChokhmah, the world of Chokhmah, or the Golem. Golem, the word Golem comes from raw material. Okay? Now, the world of the Chokhmah is just above the Dat. Under the Dat is where things start to manifest in the spiritual and then eventually in the physical. So let's take, for example, when a scribe writes letters in the Torah on the parchment, handwriting with a cane or with a feather, and the first thing he does before the letter get its shape is touching the parchment and making a dot. And they call the dot golem. It's like a raw material. So the ink is already on the parchment, but you don't know what letter is going to come out of it, because from that dot, he can create any letter that he wants. He can do Aleph, beginning of the alphabet, the last letter, or somewhere in the middle. Whatever letter you want has to begin with the golem. Stem cells that the body produces, especially when the baby is born. So there's a bunch of stem cells that we have, and the stem cells are cells that are not yet assigned for anything specific in the body. And according to the needs of the body, the stem cell becomes a brain cell, a bone cell, a muscle cell, skin cell, or anything else. Okay? But in the beginning, it's a raw material. Now, when the Talmud says a place that you can't tell the difference between Haman and Mordechai, Haman, the bad guy, Mordechai, the good guy. I mean, of course you can tell the difference between them, and it's not about being drunk that's going to make a difference. But there is one place that Haman and Mordechai are exactly the same. Where is that? If you could bring him back in time to the raw material, to the world of the golem, the world of the golem, the world of Chokhmah, and all of a sudden they're both exactly the same. It's raw material. It's exactly raw material, and that's what happens when you take you have old silver jewelry, okay, and it's out of fashion. You don't like it. It's a little dirty. So you're not going to throw it away to the garbage. It's not garbage. I mean, it has value. So what do? You take it to the jeweler, and he's going to take the silver and he's going to melt it. He's going to melt it, and then he says, okay, so what do you want me to do for you? And he can design for you beautiful jewelry, whatever you want, your choice. And he's going to make brand new jewelry from the same silver. And that's the idea of Purim. To drink to the point that, some of the separation between us kind of disappear. So when you're a little tipsy, you can give hugs to people you don't know, or maybe know a little bit, and then you're friends with everyone, and it's beautiful. Everyone's happy, everyone is singing, smiling. That's what alcohol does, right? So the moment that drops, you can actually pass from the dat, the sphira of dat, of knowledge, of determination, of understanding. All of a sudden you go outside the box, and you can actually get to the world of Chokhmah and bring Haman to that world, and bring Mordechai. He's already there. And then all of a sudden, Haman is decommissioned, diffused. He's losing his purpose, negativity, anything that he had before. And just like the last thing for this video, when the children of Israel left Egypt, it says, Vayar Israel et Mitzrayim met al sfatayim, and Israel saw Egypt dead on the seashore. So the commentator said it was not about the soldiers or the people of Egypt, it was the angel that was in charge of Egypt. He was dead on the seashore. And then you ask the question, but angels don't die. There is no death in the upper world. So they say, yeah, the angel was reassigned. He was reassigned. He stopped being the angel of Egypt, and they gave him some other job. That's what the Ari says. He was reassigned. This is why it is called for angel. It's like he was assigned to do another thing, another mission. So it's like kind of death. And that's exactly the same thing. In Purim, we can, through the different guidelines of the holiday, things we need to do to connect to the energy of the holiday, we diffuse the energy of Amalek. Amalek becomes nothing, just raw material. And we decide what we want to do with it later on. So stay tuned for the next video. We're going to complete the picture of Purim and get different details. So see you in the next video.